fans, do you want to win your share of $100,000? Simply enter the houseofboxing.com Fight Night Prediction Challenge. Compete with boxing fans around the world. Simply head over to houseofboxing.com and sign up now.
This is Charlie Parsons for Boxing Social in association with houseofboxing.com and Empire Fight Store. We find ourselves, this room's calling me broke. I mean, this is just incredible. We're in Monaco. Wow.
It's a little bit different to Cancun. Hey Parsons, you've had it off, haven't you? I mean, Cancun to Monaco. Imagine flying all around the world with zero ability. That's a true blag.
It took you 23 seconds.
Yeah, that's a true blag, right? Because if you've got ability and skill...
What about the networking ability? You've got to give me that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you've... I mean, apparently, you've now been gifted a couple of suits from a top tailor's.
Shout out Clementson Church, by the way. Some service, hand-delivered to Cirencester.
Why freebies? On what basis?
So I had a LinkedIn message, and obviously this week came up. I thought, you know, very apparent. Little bow tie. I've not worn a suit since prom.
I cannot wait to see you in a bow tie. Competition winner vibes.
I can't wait to see myself. Oh, you're actually not wrong on this instance.
No.
How are you, mate?
I'm very well. I felt a bit unwell last night. I had a little bit of I think I had a bit of food poisoning, but feel unbelievable today, as you can see. Ready to start the press conference and a really good fight card on Saturday in Monaco.
Talk us through the fight card. It's a little bit multicultural, international. We've got a little bit of South Africa in there for an IBF light flyweight title. Ramla Ali Guzman, me and Cole were so excited for. We saw that fight first in New Orleans. Joe Cordina, top of the bill. Edward Vazquez is already talking a good game.
It's a really good card. I mean, you know, for many different reasons, it's definitely an international field, and that's what Monaco want in terms of obviously their customers and, you know, the broadcast reach. And when you look at the card, Joe Cordina against Vazquez, really good fight. And you know that when O'Shaki Foster beat Hernandez last week, I said, time to unify against Joe Cordina. And he said, he's got to get past Vazquez first. And I said, is that a tough fight? And he said, it's a really, really tough fight. He said, Vazquez is a good fighter. A lot of people felt like he beat Raymond Ford in that split decision. But Joe Cordina, in my opinion, is the best 130-pounder in the world. And it's just sometimes a little bit difficult when you're preparing for a unification or a massive stadium fight just to come through these kind of fights. But good news for Joe is he's boxed here before. You haven't been to one of these shows, but very strange and unique. You know, you talk about 300 people in tuxedos, royalty. You know, it's a different kind of environment. So you've got to be switched on and ready. And Joe mustn't make any mistakes on Saturday night. It's a really, really good fight. Nonshinga, if you haven't watched him, just fight of the year, fight of the year, fight of the year. Why are you taking pictures during the interview?
I'm not the only one that does that, sir.
It's day in the life, yeah? Anyway, Nonshinga, who is just fight of the year, fight of the year. He's got a brilliant, brilliant fight against Adrian Curiel, which is going to be an absolute war. Sully Sissoko against Isaias Lucero, another tough Mexican, great fight. And Ramla Ali rematching Guzman, which is, you know, for me, probably the fight I'm looking forward to the most. I mean, first time around, Ramla was outboxing her for the most of the fight, started getting involved in a war, got knocked out, came straight back and said, I want that rematch. So massive props to her. It's a massive fight for her career, and one I believe she can win if she can stay disciplined. So 4 fights, 4 really good fights, and great card on Saturday.
I feel like there is a chance we could get cut off at any moment, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. Talks that the Saudi Arabians want to continue with the event December 23rd with Ngannou. I read something, potentially Zhang or Parker. Are you pushing for Anthony Joshua for this slot, 23rd?
We'd take it. I don't think so. I don't see Ngannou fighting on the 23rd of December. I mean, it's 7 weeks away. So we are looking at our own potential fight for AJ on December 23rd. Yeah, but we'll have to see. Lot of interesting discussions ongoing. We'll have to see how it plays out.
What are AJ's thoughts on Fury and Ngannou?
Haven't discussed it with him, honestly. Not discussed it with him. Just discussed his plans and didn't really talk about the fight.
Why is that now the Ngannou fight the one to make for you as opposed to Wilder?
No, the Wilder fight still. But I'm just, you know, you talk about a guy that's just beaten Tyson Fury, and for me, has earned the right to be involved in another massive fight. If that's going to be AJ, great. I mean, you know, the aim for AJ is to become world heavyweight champion. And Ngannou doesn't allow him to do that, but it's a massive money fight that I'm sure a lot of people would like to see. And for me, a fight that we win comfortably. So very happy to look at that fight.
What do you make of Tyson Fury's post-fight interview the following day off the back? He sort of didn't really blame anyone.
No, but that's right. You got to blame yourself. But also, he didn't do the post-fight press conference because he don't want to be criticised. You know, he bans TalkSport, he bans other people. The one thing I'll say, when AJ got knocked out by or stopped by Ruiz, when AJ was mentally destroyed after the Usyk fight, he turned up at the presser. One he broke down and cried at. The other one he had to go with concussion and do his job. So you can't have it everywhere. And you know, they want to criticise me and AJ and Frozen and out in the cold. So if Fury performs like that, we're going to let our position known, which is we believe AJ beats Tyson Fury every day of the week. So I don't think you're going to see him do too much now. I think he'll have a little bit of time off, and then I'm sure he'll come back. And I think he'll be better in the Usyk fight for sure.
Well, that was obviously my next point. They're now saying February is the provisional date for that fight. Both parties ready for then, you assuming?
Maybe, yeah. I don't know.
Do you make Usyk the favourite now in that fight?
Maybe. I think that, you know, it's really... I think Fury was the favourite before Saturday. I think Usyk is the favourite now. I'm not sure Fury's the same fight. I'm not sure his punch resistance is there. But Usyk isn't a big puncher, so I think that's great news for him. I would also not be surprised if Fury retired and didn't fight Usyk. You know, when you finish a fight, you kind of buzz him for a few days, and then there'll be a slump. So how long does Fury need for that slump? 3-4 weeks? February sounds quite tight for me, but you know, obviously they'll want to get it in Riyadh season. And we'll see.
And Shalom said that Martin Bakole beats both Fury and Ngannou. What did you make of that off the back of Saturday?
I think Bakole beats Ngannou comfortably. I think Bakole's a good fighter. You know, the problem for Martin is one who really wants to fight him, because you don't really get paid any money for fighting Martin Bakole, and that's always been... Martin Bakole's always been a good heavyweight. Always. But no one's really interested in fighting him because he's a hard sell. But he had a good platform on Saturday. I don't understand why Bakole doesn't rematch Michael Hunter. Like, that fight's been there a million times, and it's still there on a plate for him. And they're afraid of that fight. They don't need to be afraid of that fight. He'll beat him this time around. But that's the fight they should take. Get that locked off the resume, and Bakole's going to be he'll be in good fights.
There were some weird rumours that circulated over the weekend that Deontay Wilder could be training in MMA for a potential mixed rules bout.
Yeah. Madness. I said, have you seen his legs? Like, if Ngannou kicks those legs, they'll snap in two. But look, I think Wilder should stick to I think he should just have a boxing fight. I mean, he hasn't boxed for over a year, and hopefully that could be AJ. Listen, he may end up getting the fight with Ngannou. Who knows? But we want to see Wilder back in the ring, not in the cage, because I'm not sure how that would go.
I know you're working vigorously behind the scenes to make Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn. It seems certainly on Chris's side that this is sort of the first time that he's come back out and explicitly said that is the next fight for him. What's the sort of, where are you at with it at the minute?
We're in final negotiations. I think that's the best way to put it. Frank and Calla, obviously ourselves and Tony and Conor, trying to get that made. End of January, Spurs or Millennium Stadium. That's where it's going to take place. And we're ready to make the fight. I think we're very close now, and hopefully we can get it concluded this week.
Just really quickly, Chris Eubank Sr. made some comments about wanting Conor to fight Harlem instead. What do you think, one, I suppose, about Eubank Sr. being back in the sport, and two, wanting the Harlem fight as opposed to Chris for his son?
He's representing Harlem Eubank, so he's going to call out those kind of fights. Great to see him back in the sport. No interest in a Harlem Eubank fight for Conor Benn, only big fights only. And that will be hopefully Chris Eubank Jr.
Just lastly from me, Billy Joe Saunders on the undercard of that sort of fight night, and if he wins, if Chris wins, would that be the fight that you'd tee up?
Yeah, I mean, look, Billy Joe is going to be involved in big fights, whoever that is. Obviously, if Eubank won, then that's a massive fight with Billy Joe Saunders, but we don't believe that's going to be an issue, because Conor Benn should take care of him inside 6 rounds.
Eduardo, from Cancun to Monaco by royal appointment, thank you very much.